Deep in a sunny forest where the trees reached high into the sky and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, lived a young brachiosaurus named Bronto. Bronto was a gentle giant with a long neck and a heart of gold. He was known throughout the forest for his kind nature and his love for the simple joys of life. Every morning, Bronto would wake up to the chirping of birds and the rustling of leaves. He loved munching on leaves from the tallest trees, savoring each bite as if it were a gourmet meal. His best friend was Kira, a playful triceratops with 3 horns and an adventurous spirit. The two were inseparable, always exploring the forest and discovering new wonders. Sarah was known for her boundless energy and her love for excitement. She would often challenge Bronto to races and games, her tail swishing with enthusiasm. One sunny afternoon, as the golden rays of the sun filtered through the canopy, Bronto and Sarah were playing near a sparkling river. The water flowed through the forest, bringing life to the lush green plants and creating a serene atmosphere. "Let's race to that big tree!" Sarah challenged, her eyes gleaming with excitement. Bronto chuckled, knowing he could never outrun Sarah, but he was always happy to play along. The two friends dashed towards the tree, their laughter echoing through the forest. Bronto's long strides and Sarah's quick feet created a playful rhythm as they ran. As they reached the tree, they collapsed in a heap, panting and giggling. The forest around them seemed to join in their joy, with birds singing and leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. "You always make me laugh, Bronto," Sarah said, nudging him with her snout. Bronto smiled, his heart full of happiness. The forest was their playground, and every day was an adventure. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the forest, Bronto and Kira knew that they had made another beautiful memory together. They were more than friends, they were family. And so, in the heart of the mighty forest, the gentle giant and the adventurous triceratops continued to explore, play and cherish every moment, knowing that their bond was as strong as the tallest trees. As they neared the riverbank, Bronto stopped short. "Wait, Kira!" he called out, his voice filled with concern. "Don't go too close!" But it was too late. Sarah, in her excitement, had gotten too close to the edge. The muddy bank crumbled under her feet, and with a startled yelp, she tumbled into the rushing water. "Help!" Sarah cried, trying to stay afloat in the strong current. "Bronto, help me!" Bronto watched in horror as the river swept Sarah further and further away. He had to do something, but Bronto couldn't swim. He was too big and heavy. Frantically, Bronto scanned the riverbank. He needed to find something to help Sarah. Suddenly, he spotted something floating on the water's surface. Bubbles! Bronto remembered seeing those bubbles before. They came from the other side of the river, where a small secluded lagoon was hidden amongst the trees, and he knew just who to ask for help. "Hold on, Sarah!" Bronto called out, hoping his friend could hear him above the rushing water. "I'll be back soon!" Without hesitation, Bronto set off through the forest, his long legs carrying him quickly towards the hidden lagoon. He had to reach the source of the bubbles, and fast. The lagoon shimmered peacefully under the warm sun. Sitting on a lily pad in the middle was Shelley, a wise old turtle. Shelley was known throughout the forest for her calm demeanor and her helpful nature. "Shelley! Shelley!" Bronto called out, his voice echoing through the quiet clearing. "I need your help!" Shelley slowly opened her eyes, her gaze meeting Bronto's worried face. "What brings you here in such a hurry, young Bronto?" she asked, her voice calm and soothing. Panting, Bronto explained Sarah's predicament and his theory about the bubbles. "Please, Shelley, you're the only one who can help," he pleaded. Section 5, A Perilous Journey. Shelley listened patiently to Bronto's story. He spoke of the challenges they would face, the dangers that lurked in the waters, and the importance of their mission. His voice was filled with a mix of fear and determination, painting a vivid picture of the perilous journey ahead. When he finished, she let out a deep sigh. The weight of the task ahead was heavy on her shoulders, but she knew they had no choice. They had to press on, for the sake of their friend, Sarah, who was counting on them. "The current is strong today," she said, her voice grave. "We must be extra cautious. One wrong move and we could be swept away." Her eyes scanned the river, noting the swift flow and the hidden dangers beneath the surface. But a true friend never hesitates to help those in need. Shelley's resolve was unwavering. She knew that their friendship and loyalty to Sarah were more powerful than any obstacle they might face. With a determined glint in her eye, Shelley slid off her lily pad and into the water. The coldness of the river sent a shiver down her spine, but she pushed forward, her mind focused on the task at hand. "Follow me, Bronto," she instructed, "and be careful, the river is full of hidden dangers." Her voice was steady, a beacon of guidance in the treacherous waters. The river is full of hidden dangers. Sharp rocks, fallen logs, and swirling currents lay in wait, ready to challenge their every move. Each step had to be taken with utmost care. Together, Bronto and Shelley embarked on their perilous journey upstream. The water was relentless, pushing against them with every step, but they moved in unison, their friendship giving them strength. Bronto carefully followed Shelley's lead, his long neck craned high to avoid the low-hanging branches. He marveled at her bravery and felt a surge of gratitude for having such a steadfast friend by his side. The journey was fraught with obstacles. Every few steps they encountered new challenges that tested their resolve, but with each hurdle they overcame, their confidence grew. Fallen logs blocked their path, forcing them to find creative ways around or over them. Shelley's quick thinking and Bronto's strength made them a formidable team, and swirling whirlpools threatened to pull them under. The water's force was intimidating, but they pressed on, driven by their mission to save Sarah. But Bronto never faltered, his determination fueled by his worry for Sarah. He knew that every step they took brought them closer to their goal, and he was ready to face whatever came their way. Section 6. The Cave of Wonders. After what felt like hours, they reached a narrow cave hidden behind a curtain of cascading water. The air was thick with mist and an eerie silence hung in the air. "This is it," Shelley announced, her voice barely a whisper, the source of the bubbles. Hesitantly, Bronto peered into the darkness. The cave was dark and mysterious, and he couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them. "Don't worry, Bronto," Shelley reassured him, sensing his fear. "There's nothing in there that can harm us." Taking a deep breath, Bronto followed Shelley into the cave. As his eyes adjusted to the darkness, he realized the cave wasn't empty after all. Section 7. Bubbling up a solution. The cave floor was covered in sparkling crystals, reflecting the faint light that filtered in from the entrance. The air was cool and filled with a faint, almost magical hum that seemed to resonate from the very walls of the cave. And in the center of it all was a small pool of water bubbling furiously. The bubbles rose to the surface, creating a mesmerizing dance of light and motion. "This is amazing," Bronto exclaimed, his fear forgotten. He was captivated by the sight before him, unable to tear his eyes away from the bubbling pool. He had never seen anything like it before. The way the bubbles floated to the surface, almost defying gravity, was unlike anything he had ever encountered in his adventures. "This, my dear Bronto," Shelley explained, "is a natural spring." Her voice was calm and knowledgeable, filled with the wisdom of many years. "The water here is special. It's not just any ordinary water. It's imbued with unique properties that make it lighter than air. It's lighter than air, which is why it creates bubbles that float to the surface. These bubbles are not just beautiful to look at, they hold a secret power." Bronto's eyes widened in realization. He began to understand the potential of this discovery. "So, if we collect enough of these bubbles..." Bronto's mind raced with possibilities, each more exciting than the last. "We can use them to lift Sarah out of the water," he exclaimed, his voice filled with newfound hope and determination. Shelley finished, a smile spreading across her wrinkled face. She was proud of Bronto for making the connection and finding a solution. Together they set to work collecting the magical bubbles, knowing that they were on the brink of a great discovery. Section 8. Homeward Bound. Working together, Bronto and Shelley carefully collected the bubbles in large leaves. They then tied the leaves together using strong vines, creating a makeshift raft. With their precious cargo secured, they set off downstream, the current carrying them swiftly towards Sarah. They spotted Sarah struggling to stay afloat near a bend in the river. She looked exhausted and scared. "Sarah, we're coming!" Bronto roared, his voice filled with relief. Hearing Bronto's voice, Sarah looked up, her eyes widening in hope. Section 9. Friends Forever. Gently, Bronto and Shelley maneuvered the raft towards Sarah. They helped her climb onto the buoyant leaves, the magical bubbles keeping her afloat. Safe and sound, they floated downstream, the current carrying them back to the familiar shores of their home. As they reached the riverbank, Bronto and Sarah embraced, grateful to be reunited. Sarah thanked Shelley profusely for her bravery and quick thinking. From that day forward, Bronto, Sarah and Shelley remained the best of friends. They learned that even the scariest situations could be overcome with courage, ingenuity and, most importantly, the unwavering support of true friends.